The Nikon Z6 Filmmaker's Kit gives you the tools you need to step up your production in one convenient bundle. In this video, we'll explain what's in the kit and we'll set up all the components so that you can get started. First, we'll get familiar with the Nikon Z6 for video, and I'll explain many of the menu options, functions, and user settings. After we set up the camera, we'll set up the Moza Air 2 gimbal, which, with a little patience and practice, you'll be up and running and addicted to it in no time. But we won't stop there. We still need to talk about the amazing Atomos Ninja V video recording monitor. This will be your go-to recording device for unlocking the full potential of the Nikon Z6. And finally, we'll get you up and running with the RODE VideoMic Pro Plus so that you can enhance your footage with high-quality stereo sound. One quick note, it's always a good idea to occasionally check for firmware updates for these products. Sometimes the updates are simple bug fixes, but other times they're product enhancements that could include added functionality. To get updates for the Nikon Z6, visit nikonusa.com. If you register your Filmmaker's Kit, we'll even notify you by email when the Z6 updates are available. As for the Atomos Ninja V, visit atomos.com, and for the Moza Air 2, visit gudson.com. Now that that's out of the way, let's get started. The Nikon Z series of mirrorless cameras are feature-rich with video capabilities. The Z6 Filmmaker's Kit includes the Z6 camera, which offers full-frame 4K UHD with full pixel readout, phase detect autofocus, slow motion recording, time-lapse, analog, and a host of other great features, including a future firmware upgrade for ProRes RAW external recording. Getting this camera up and running for your productions is easy, but there are quite a few options to choose from in the menus. To make sure you're set up properly for the type of shooting you will be doing, let's go through some of the most important options here. The first thing I want to recommend is that you download a free app developed by Nikon called Manual Viewer 2. It's available on the App Store for iOS or Google Play Store for Android users. This is a quick and easy way to download and view Nikon user manuals so that you can reference them no matter where you are. You can browse, bookmark, or search for keywords within any available user manual. This will really come in handy when you are in the middle of a video shoot and you want to activate a feature or change something in the menus. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the Z6 and get acquainted with it. At the top here, you'll find the record button. Here's the ISO button, which can be set by simply pressing the button and rotating the main command dial. And here's the exposure compensation, which works the same way. The mode dial is here on the left. On the back of the camera, you have the photo movie selector, the tilting touchscreen, of course the EVF, the playback and delete buttons, the menu button, and the I menu button, which is a convenient interactive menu for your most frequently used items. The options on the I menu are customizable, so definitely take advantage of this feature. It's easy to set up, and having quick access to frequently used menu items means that you can focus more on what's going on during your production and less on changing camera settings. On the side of the camera, that's where you'll find the mic input, headphone output, HDMI output, a USB port, and the multi-accessory port. Now that we're familiar with the layout of the Z6, we can start setting this up. Let's start by inserting a charged battery into the camera. Next, turn on the camera and flip the photo movie selector to movie. Next, press the menu button. Go to the movie shooting menu, which is the movie camera icon over here. You can change a lot of movie settings here, but we'll just talk about the options necessary to get you going. Let's start with frame size, frame rate. Just select that one. Here are all your different choices. For maximum resolution and frame rate, choose 3840 by 2160 at 30p. This is 4K UHD at 30 frames per second. If you want a more cinematic look to your footage, you may want to try the 24p option. There's also slow motion options in full HD 1080p. Next, let's choose an autofocus mode. Scroll down through the menus till you find the focus mode option. For video, if you want to use autofocus, you're best off using AFF, which is full-time focus, and will automatically refocus on anything that is within the selected AF area. If you, like many videographers, prefer to shoot in manual focus mode, That option is available in this menu as well. That brings us to the AF area mode. In this menu, you will choose one of 4 area options. There's single point, which gives you the most precise focus on a single point. Wide area AF, both small and large, and auto area AF. Use this one if you want the camera to take complete control. For more details on these autofocus modes, you can always consult the Z6 User's Manual. Next is vibration reduction, which is the camera's in-body image stabilization. If you're shooting handheld or on the Moza Air 2, turn it on. If you're on a tripod, make sure to turn it off. Additionally, in video mode, there's an electronic VR option that can also be used, but be aware that it will slightly crop the image area. There are a lot more settings you can adjust with the Z6, but this should get you up and running for now. The Moza Air 2 Pro camera stabilization system allows you to capture really dynamic motion in your footage. You can use it for sweeping shots, tracking shots, crane shots, slider style shots, and so much more. This will probably be the most difficult component to master in the Z6 Filmmaker's Kit, so it's a good idea to invest time in learning and practicing balance and basic operation. The gimbal is intelligent and feature-rich, and when used effectively, will really elevate the look and feel of your productions. In this section, we will go step by step through the balancing process, and I'll explain some of the basics to get you started. I cannot stress enough how important it is to get the balancing right. If your camera isn't properly balanced on the Moza, the weight of the camera will just fight the intended motion of the gimbal, and the gimbal will struggle and you'll just end up getting nothing but frustration. Trust me, take your time with this and learn to do it the right way. It will pay off huge in the end. So there are quite a few parts, and getting to know them will make the setup process easier. First, let's take a look at the bottom of the gimbal, where you'll see 2 threaded holes, a 1/4 inch for the mini tripod, or standard tripod for that matter, and a 3/8 inch for larger optional accessories. We'll just screw the mini tripod into the gimbal and set it aside for the moment. There's one other component that I want to point out, the quick release plate. The first one is already on the gimbal, and there's also a second quick release plate, which is really convenient if you want to swap cameras in the middle of the shoot. Other than that, most of the other items included in the kit will come in handy if you choose to add on other Moza accessories. Before you attempt to balance the Z6 on the Moza, make sure that the camera is already set up with the lens you want to use and that is set to the focal length that you plan to shoot at. That means that if the lens has a retractable mechanism, like the included 24-70 f4, you'll want to extend the lens before you start balancing. You'll also want to attach your neutral density filter now if you're using one. In addition, make sure you have a charged battery and memory card in the camera and move the tilting LCD to the desired position. You're not going to be able to extend the screen too much, and in most cases, it will be best to leave it in the collapsed position, but feel free to experiment with this if necessary. I can promise this will save you a lot of time later. Any shift in weight distribution will throw off the balance of the Moza, so you definitely want to get these things right so that you don't end up rebalancing it again later. Next, we'll mount the Z6 to the quick release plate. In order to take the plate off of the Moza, you'll need to flip the safety lock lever on the mounting head to unlock the position. Press the removal pin on the side and then slide the plate out. Next, mount the plate to the camera. Where you position the camera on the plate may vary depending on the size of the lens, but generally you'll want the lens to extend a little beyond the plate. There's a key-shaped screwdriver included in the kit that you can use to tighten it, but a coin would work just as well. Now that that's done, I think we're ready to start balancing. First step is to insert your charged batteries. You'll find a set of 4 in the kit. A fully charged set of batteries will give you roughly 16 hours of battery life. So it's highly unlikely you'll ever have to worry about running out of battery power in the middle of a shoot. The grip actually doubles as a battery door, so use your thumbnail to open the latch and lift the grip plate to take it off. Install the 4 batteries where the positive end of the back 2 are facing up and the front 2 are facing down. Put the plate back on and place the Moza on the table or a sturdy level surface. What you want to do next is make sure the arms are right side up. There's a sticker on the roll arm that will let you know which way is up. If the sticker is upside down, just rotate the arm around. Next, lock the roll arm into place. This will make it easier when you're balancing the tilt axis, so engage the lock and just reposition the roll arm until it locks into place. Now, we can slide the Z6 onto the Moza by sliding the quick release plate back on. You should hear 2 clicks, and then re-engage the safety lock. Next, balance the camera so that it's not tipping forward or backward. Just loosen the base plate lever and slide the base plate back and forth until the camera is level. Here's a trick to make sure you nail it. Turn on the Z6 and press the display button until your virtual horizon appears on the monitor. This is an electronic level. If the point in the center is green, then you're level. I think we're good. Okay, now let's work on the tilt axis. Rotate the camera upward and carefully let go. Is the camera staying in place or is it falling backward or forward? You want it to stay in place. Just loosen the lever on the tilt arm and slide the arm up and down until the camera stays in place. Take your time with this and make sure you get it right. There's a little bit of forgiveness, but proper balance will result in steadier operation. Next, we have the roll axis. First step is to flip the switch on the roll lock to disengage it. Chances are your arm will drop and swing to the side like mine did. So just loosen the lever on the roll arm and slide the arm until you're perfectly level. The Z6's virtual horizon will come in handy here again. Keep adjusting until the horizon turns green. The last axis, the pan axis, is the trickiest because you have to pick up the Moza to make the adjustment. Now pick the Moza up and put it in a horizontal position. Do it in a way that is most comfortable for you. What you want is for the camera to stay level in a forward-facing position. If the camera swings up or down, loosen the lever on the pan arm and adjust. Tighten the lever and try again. Keep doing this until the camera stays balanced. Congratulations, you've balanced your gimbal. Now turn on the Moza by pressing the red button for 3 seconds. Check if you've balanced everything properly. On the Moza, press the menu button, then press the dial downward to gimbal set, and click the dial to the right. Then calibration. Click right, then balance, check, click right again. This will test the stabilization, and if you did everything correctly, the asterisks will line up along the center. If not, you'll have to readjust accordingly and test again. Looks like we're properly balanced. It's a good idea to auto-tune each time you stabilize a camera so that the performance of the motors are optimized. To do this, hold the FN or function button until you feel the Moza respond and then let it go. The Moza will start calibrating and shake in different directions. When it's done, you're ready to go. The display shows you your settings for each axis. The numbers next to each axis indicate the follow speed. The lower the number, the less motion of each axis. The higher the number, the greater the motion. The letters on the right side indicate the axis is set to follow or lock. If an axis is locked, the camera will not change direction even if you move the gimbal around. If you want to temporarily lock every axis while shooting, you can hold the trigger button in the front with your index finger. The joystick gives you directional control of your camera, including up, down, left, right, and anything in between. There's also a roll dial on the left. If you want to reposition your camera to the home position, double-click the trigger. Operationally, you can use the Moza in vertical mode, flashlight mode, and underslung mode. As far as controlling the camera, if you have the M3C micro cable and USB-C adapter connected, tapping the power button on the Moza will start and stop recordings. You can also adjust aperture, shutter, and ISO values with the dial. To set this up, press the menu button, select Camera Set, click Select, then press down until you find the Nikon USB option and select it by pressing the dial to the right. Make sure you have the latest firmware installed on the Moza for this to work. There are other great features of the Moza Air too, including Inception Mode, Selfie Mode, and more. If you download the free Moza Master app for Android or iOS, you'll unlock even more features like motion lapse. For more information about these features and more, I encourage you to review the manual and visit Gudson.com. The Moza Air 2 is a tool that can really enhance the look of your videos, but it takes patience and practice. Don't get intimidated. Now that you know how to get the Moza up and running, it's all about getting out there and experimenting with this amazing device. The Atomos Ninja V is an external recording monitor that unlocks some of the advanced capabilities of the Nikon Z6, including 10-bit recording, N-Log, and in the near future, 12-bit ProRes RAW. If you've used the Atomos before, you'll find the interface of the Ninja V to be relatively familiar. But if this is your first time, you're sure to fall in love with the capabilities of this little device. The Ninja comes with base accessories to get you started. This includes the recorder, an AC power adapter with international plug options, a battery eliminator, which converts the battery slot for connecting AC power, an HDMI cord, and a master caddy. What you will need to purchase separately is a battery or multiple batteries, a 2.5-inch solid-state drive, and a docking station. Though there are many different batteries to choose from, for best performance, Atomos recommends their NPF series batteries. As for solid-state drives, it's best to visit atomos.com to see the most current list of supported media. Let's power up the device and get acquainted with the menus and features. At the top of the screen, you'll find the info bar, which tells you your settings information. You can tap on these settings to bring up the menus to change them, but more on this in a little bit. The icons on the bottom are for monitoring, recording, and playback. You can use the record button here, but we'll set up the record button on your Z6 to trigger the Atomos to start and stop recording. You also have a playback icon to review your content, a monitor icon to toggle different display options and activate different monitoring tools like the waveform monitor, vector scope, zebra stripes, false color, and more. Check the Ninja V user manual for a complete list and explanation of these options. Finally, you'll notice a settings icon over at the bottom right. Tap this if you want to make adjustments to the monitoring tools and how they are displayed. Depending on your preference, there are a variety of ways you can mount the Ninja V for your video shoot. Unless you're mounting it to the Moza Air 2, you may find it useful to mount it on the hot shoe of the camera. If you choose to do this, make sure to get a quality hot shoe mount that can support the weight of the Ninja V and take extra caution when mounting to avoid damage to the hot shoe. Now, just insert the coiled full-to-mini HDMI cable into the Ninja V and the Z6. To access the port on the Z6, just peel the rubber cover up on the side of the camera. And there it is. To set up the Z6 so that it will output to the Atomos, you'll need to access the HDMI settings. So press the menu button, then tap the wrench icon. This is the setup menu, and tap HDMI. Next, set the output resolution to auto. You can tap the screen or press OK to confirm. Then, tap HDMI again. Tap Advanced, and here we have a few settings to adjust. Set the output range. Auto is recommended in most situations. External recording control should be turned on so that the Ninja V can remotely start and stop recording when you press the record button on the camera. Output data depth can be set to either 8-bit or 10-bit. 10-bit records over 1 billion colors, whereas 8-bit records roughly 16 million. So 10-bit will give you smoother gradations in your videos, but of course the files will be larger. Next, we have N-Log. This is only available when shooting in 10-bit. Turn this on if you want to color grade your videos in post-production. N-Log preserves details in highlights and shadows and avoids oversaturating colors when recording. If you don't plan on color grading later, then turn this off. Finally, View Assist, which is only available when N-Log is turned on. Use this to see a preview of the video footage on the camera monitor so that you can get a more natural looking representation of the colors. This will have no effect on the N-Log footage being recorded to the Ninja V, and the colors in the preview will differ from those of the final movie. Let's move on to the Ninja V. First thing you have to do is select the source input and choose HDMI. Next, in the same menu, is the trigger input, which should also be set to HDMI. You can just tap the switch right here. That will allow the camera's record button to start and stop recording on the Ninja. If you're shooting in N-Log, turn the camera output selection on and go through the selections until you see Nikon. If you're not using N-Log, just keep the setting off. So those are your input settings. Next, skip to the Record tab. Here you'll choose the codec format you'd like to use. Select the ProRes codec and choose the amount of compression that best suits your needs. There's 422, HQ, and LT. You'll notice the hard drive space remaining for each selection. In the File tab, you can customize the naming of your files, including the scene number, shot number, and take number. This is really useful to stay organized for post-production editing. Those are your basic settings. Now just press record on the camera. For more detailed instructions for using all the features of the Atomos Ninja V, please visit atomos.com. Now, what if you want to use the Ninja V with the Moza Air 2? Attaching these two components is fairly straightforward. You'll need the Moza Magic articulating arm and the 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch screw adapter, which you'll find in the Moza box. Locate the 3/8 inch extension port on the Moza and insert the screw adapter. Then attach the arm. Finally, attach the Ninja V. You can make adjustments to the arm position by loosening the hinges, adjusting, and tightening the hinges again. Attaching the Ninja V will not interfere with the balance of the gimbal. However, the HDMI cable will. So if you plan to use the Ninja V on the Moza, make sure to connect it before balancing. The RODE VideoMic Pro Plus is a shotgun mic that is designed for portable cameras like the Nikon Z6. There are a few ways to power this mic, but most likely you'll use the rechargeable battery method. Just insert the LB1 rechargeable battery into the microphone and connect the mic to the included micro USB charger. It should take about 3 hours to fully charge an empty battery. You can also use AA batteries if you'd like, or power it continuously through a micro USB connection. But based on RODE's specifications, the rechargeable battery will easily get you through a day's shoot. You can mount the mic directly onto the hot shoe of the Z6, which will probably be your go-to location for it most of the time. However, if you want to use the mic when the Z6 is mounted to the Moza Air 2, the microphone will interfere with the gimbal arms, so putting it on the hot shoe is not an option. In this situation, you can attach it to the Atomos Ninja V with a 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapter, which you would need to purchase separately. So let's keep it simple here and focus on the Z6 and the VideoMic Pro Plus. Slide it onto the hot shoe, tighten the mount thread, and plug it into the jack on the side of the camera. When you turn on your camera, the microphone will automatically turn on. Turn off the camera and the microphone shuts down. This is a great feature for 2 reasons. You can't forget to turn the mic on, ruining your audio, and you can't forget to turn it off, saving the battery. Let's turn it back on. There are 2 buttons on the back of the mic. The one on the left is a high-pass filter setting. Activate this if you want to reduce background noises like air conditioning units, motor hums, and wind. There's a high and low setting for this, so feel free to experiment. The button on the right is the output gain control. You can either leave it alone or press once for +20 or twice for -10 decibels. If you press both buttons together, you will activate the high frequency boost mode, which is meant to recover high frequency sounds that are typically lost or muffled when a wind cover is used. Finally, when the power and the output gain control buttons are pressed simultaneously, you can turn the right audio channel into a safety track, recording 10 decibels lower than the left track. You'll love this feature if you find yourself in a shoot where the audio is difficult to predict and occasionally peaks. For more information about the RODE VideoMic Pro Plus, be sure to visit rode.com. Well, this pretty much concludes this introduction to the Nikon Z6 Filmmaker's Kit. Yes, this is a lot of information, but hopefully you've gotten enough out of it to get yourself comfortable with the basic setup and operation of all the gear. Again, all this takes time and patience, and the more you work with this stuff, the more intuitive it will become. Muscle memory will kick in, and you'll get used to using features that complement your style of shooting. If you're looking for more great educational content from Nikon, visit our website, nikonusa.com, and click on the Education tab. Here you'll find a large collection of articles, videos, and classes that are sure to educate and inspire. This includes tips, tutorials, advice, and interviews with renowned photographers and videographers. In addition, if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe to the Nikon YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages. And finally, if you post content that was shot with this kit, we'd love to see it. Feel free to tag your videos Nikon No Filter and Nikon Z6. I hope you enjoy using the Nikon Z6 Filmmaker's Kit, and I look forward to seeing all the great things you create with it.